Have you ever found yourself lying in bed at night, staring at the ceiling, replaying every conversation, every choice, every little moment of the day? It's like a movie playing in your mind, except it's one you've seen 1,000 times, and you're still trying to figure out the ending. You start with a small thought, maybe something that seemed insignificant at the time, and then it snowballs. Suddenly, you're thinking about what you wore 3 years ago, or whether you made the right decision. Ordering the pizza, and no matter how much you tell yourself to stop, it just keeps going. Sound familiar? Welcome to the world of overthinking. It's something many of us are familiar with. Maybe you even know the feeling so well that it's almost like an old friend, though not exactly a welcome one. Overthinking can be exhausting, frustrating, and sometimes downright paralyzing. But why do we do it? And more importantly, why can't we seem to stop? Let's break it down. First, let's take a moment to imagine overthinking as a sort of mental treadmill. You're running, your heart's racing, but you're not getting anywhere. You're thinking through every possible scenario, but you're stuck in one place, going nowhere fast. This treadmill can spin out of control, pulling you into spirals where thoughts start looping back on themselves. And before you know it, you're thinking about things you haven't even considered in years. Now, you might be thinking, okay, that sounds like me, but why does my brain keep doing this? Well, let's start with how the brain works. Overthinking often begins with anxiety. When you're worried about something, whether it's a big life decision or a social interaction, it triggers that anxious part of your brain that's always trying to predict what will happen next. It's like your brain's attempt to be prepared for every possible outcome. And while this might have helped our ancestors survive a saber-toothed tiger or dodge a potential threat, today it doesn't exactly work in our favor. Here's the twist, though: overthinking doesn't solve problems. It doesn't give you clarity or help you make decisions faster. In fact, it often does the opposite. Overthinking can cloud your judgment, making things feel more complicated than they really are. Your brain isn't offering solutions. It's just spinning around in circles, trying to prepare you for every possible outcome without actually taking action. It's like having an entire army of what-ifs in your head, and none of them are really helping you move forward. Let me take you back to a moment in your life when you experienced this. Think about that time you sent a message and then, bam, a wave of doubt hits you. Did I word that right? Should I have said something different? What if they think I'm weird for saying this? What if they didn't like it? So you start running these scenarios over and over in your head, weighing every single possibility. It's like replaying the same scene from a movie 100 times, hoping for a different ending each time, but nothing changes. The message is sent. You can't take it back, but your brain won't let go. It continues to analyze, critique, and obsess. This is the hallmark of overthinking. It's a mental cycle that just won't break. Your brain is trying to find the perfect answer or make the right decision, but in doing so, it traps you in this loop. The more you analyze, the less you trust your intuition. You start doubting your ability to make decisions, second-guessing yourself at every turn. The simple, everyday choices that others make with ease feel like monumental decisions And that can lead to indecision and paralysis. Here's where things get even more interesting. Overthinking often happens in a social context. Think about it. How often do we find ourselves overthinking something we said in a group conversation? Or wondering how we came across in a meeting? Social interactions are where we feel the need to constantly analyze and interpret. And when we overanalyze, we don't just dwell on our own actions, we start worrying about how others perceived us. It's a cycle of self-doubt that's amplified by social comparison. You're not just judging yourself. You're guessing how others are judging you too. And that only feeds into your cycle of overthinking. But let's step back for a moment. Because while overthinking may feel like something you can't control, there's actually a way to begin untangling the mess. The first thing we need to understand is that overthinking is often driven by fear. Fear of making the wrong decision, fear of how others will perceive us, or fear of not living up to expectations. But here's the truth. Fear doesn't offer solutions. It just creates noise. And in this noise, you lose sight of what really matters, what your gut is telling you. So how do we break the cycle of overthinking? Well, it starts with recognizing that overthinking is a habit and unhelpful. 1. It's like having a negative playlist on repeat in your head, and you're the DJ. One of the first things you can do is interrupt that pattern. When you catch yourself overthinking, take a breath. Ask yourself, what's the worst that could happen? Most of the time, the answer is not much at all. You see, overthinking thrives when we're in an uncertain, anxious state. But once we acknowledge that not every decision has a perfect outcome, we can begin to embrace uncertainty. Not every choice we make will be the right one, and that's okay. In fact, making a wrong decision isn't the end of the world, it's part of living and learning. And don't underestimate the power of self-compassion. Overthinking often comes with harsh self-judgment. But what if, instead of criticizing yourself for thinking too much, you started treating yourself with the same understanding you'd give to a friend who's struggling with the same thing? You'd probably say, "Hey, it's okay. We all do this. You don't have to figure it all out at once." Taking action is another key element. When we overthink, we often feel like we need all the answers first. But here's the secret: action precedes clarity. If you wait until you have everything figured out before you move forward, you'll be waiting forever. Sometimes it's better to make a decision, even if it's not perfect. The path will become clearer once you start moving. I know this is easier said than done, right? And it's not like overthinking is something that can be turned off with a switch. It takes time, effort, and, most importantly, practice. But the more you recognize when you're caught in the cycle, the easier it will be to gently steer yourself out of it. And there's one final piece to this puzzle: the power of presence. When we're truly present in the moment, overthinking has less of a chance to invade. Whether it's going for a walk, practicing mindfulness, or just enjoying a cup of tea, grounding yourself in the present allows your mind to settle. The more you practice being present, the easier it becomes to quiet the noise and let go of unnecessary thoughts. So, next time you catch yourself spiraling into overthinking, remember this: You are not your thoughts. You are not your worries. Your mind may run in circles, but you can gently pull it back, embrace imperfection, take action, and be kinder to yourself along the way. Because at the end of the day, you're doing the best you can, and that's enough. If you've ever found yourself in that loop of overthinking, let me know in the comments. What are your go-to strategies for dealing with it? I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit subscribe for more psychology insights. And let's keep exploring the fascinating world of our minds. Together. Until next time, take a deep breath, trust yourself, and let the overthinking go. You've got this.